Walking this trail on Assateague Island. It's all sand. It's absolutely beautiful. You might see some wild horses. You might see some snakes. You might see other wonderful creatures. So what do you think, Beck? Tell us how Dune is born.
Yeah.
Do you want to read it to us?
A dune is born. It is a long, slow process. First, one grain of sand, then another gets trapped by a shell, plant, or obstacle. Over time, a mound forms. Pioneer plants like sea rocket create conditions that enable other plants to get a foothold. Beach heather and grasses help build and stabilize dunes by trapping blowing sand as they grow and anchor sand with their roots. Over time, the dunes rise above the shoreline. These inner dunes are never stationary. They are sculpted by the wind and scored by storms. They protect the island by absorbing the energy of storm surges. Dunes are vulnerable to people walking on them. Enjoy them from a distance.
That's her teacher voice. So that's your teacher voice. So you're for a minute. Oh, okay. Look, there's cactuses. There's these trees. You see how the cactuses grow? I mentioned to you all about them at the beach house, but didn't really get to see them until there. At that point. These wild trees. Of course, they're all wild trees. Everywhere I've ever been, there's been wild trees. I mean, I don't know. There's tame trees. This gives you an example of what the island would have been like, or Assateague. Before the 1933 hurricane that separated it from Ocean City. Essentially what it did is you had an area that grew up into touristy, big buildings and all that. And this was left natural. Natural with some kind of wild juniper, I assume. Some grasses. This is absolutely, absolutely beautiful. We haven't seen any wild horses yet. Maybe we will. It's an example of some interesting erosion. Appears to be that. It's like a blacktop. Knowing nothing about it, I'm probably going to look at it later on and go, well, that should be very simple to find. It's like a sandstone, so it tells me that's what that is. It tells me this is a rock formation. I see the strata, etc., but the black is what throws me. It's thinking that it could be more of a type of, what shall we call it? We'll find out when I get here. I would say it's an old road, but I'm probably wrong. Probably a railroad. Boulevard. And it was some kind of road. The old road. It's a lot, I think, an old road doing that. And it was built on sedimentary rock, so they used a good foundation. That's the old road. You would not have known about the history.
Had this all developed. It weren't for that nor'easter.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that nor'easter, that hurricane, this would have been like Ocean City and would have had condos and everything. We kind of shut it off from the rest of it. Like life after people, huh? Now the gulls use it to drop shells on. They kind of found their way and their use for it. You're talking 1930s, I believe this was a road. They built it on the sands. That shows how much erosion was caused. Too much wildlife. Here are the wild horses of Assateague. A little small guy there. Cutie. Here at this little area, it's like a place with some height to it. On top of one of these dunes, you can see these pines are amazing. They don't get real tall. They're a scrub pine, they call them in New Jersey. But this gives you a great view of the dunes. Get to see it exactly for what it is. Some of these dunes are older than you might think. Some of these little trees are older than you might think. And these little pines, man, they don't look old, but in the history of the area, it tells you here to help document the environmental change along Assateague Island. And the purpose of that is because looking at these, some of these trees are very, very old. If you look at some of these rings, you can barely notice them. And you can see how the wood ages here and weathers. You can imagine with the pines, it's about the same. So they found a really interesting way of, all these plants have, for dealing with this environment. This harsh environment. It's very sandy, very low in minerals and ground and water. So, especially the storms. You see all this deadwood. You see a lot of this amazing pine. It's a long needle pine. Holds in its moisture very well. Very efficient at that. And it's also carried by these little bushes like this. Looks like it might rain. My motley crew here, so we're all gonna motley crew. It's gonna rain, so we're going to. It's not gonna rain. I'm feeling the rain.
No, that's just the mist from the beach coming over here.
Okay. What do you think, Beck? Do you think it's the mist? Those clouds deceiving me.
Yeah. Let's gather up, take it home, put them in my garden.
Yeah, some horse poop. Some old horse poopy.
They go out real far.
What, this
Trail, yeah.
This trail goes all the way down to the Virginia side.
Oh, wow.
I believe it's either 20 or 40 miles, I forget. Either way, it's
You hear that?
longer than I care to walk.
There's 20 to 40 miles down.
And then there's a
Yeah.
jeep trail that goes all the way that you can camp anywhere you don't get caught, I imagine.
It'd be so cool to camp out here, just a little tent and
Wouldn't it?
sleep out here, get up, watch the sunrise.
Could. I'd be afraid of having a Jeep that would have some issue.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much cool seeing them.
Yeah, it is. The beach on Assateague is a little different than Ocean City. It's more of a clay sand, more rolling. You see all that? There's one of the creatures that lives here. Ghost crab. Can you see him? They kind of blend right in and they live in these little holes in the sand. There you see him. Beautiful little guy, isn't he? Somewhere along here you see little holes. There's a ghost crab in them. And at night they come out and they scavenge for food. That's just a little guy. Here's another one of the many forms of life. Horseshoe crab. And going out with the tide.